welcome back to the Real Wrestling and another edition of AEW Collision Out of 10, and the intense rivalry between FTR and Daniel Garcia and the House of Black came to head on Saturday night on AEW Collision in a 6-man tag team elimination steel cage match. The main event headlined the broadcast that also featured a Dean bout between Danielson and NJPW legend Nagata. We kick things off though with the BCC in tag action against Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. And just 24 hours after Mox extended his hand to Moriarty, only to be jumped and beaten down by the young star and former RHTV champion, he was joined by Claudio for this match, and it was a good physical bout that saw Moriarty nearly defeat Mox, countering his trademark chokes with a bridging pin. Instead, BCC fought its way back into the match, and Mox submitted Taylor for the win. If nothing else, it was a showcase for Moriarty, who has flirted with the BCC before and will make a good addition to the group. While things may not be heading in a perfect direction right now after he jumped Mox on Rampage, it's something that Tony Khan can revisit because it fits really well. And I think, it did some good stuff there for Moriarty, especially, really, even in defeat. And potentially be a member of the BCC one day. That'd be interesting. But get 7 out of 10 from me. But moving on into the international title match, Commander versus Orange Cassidy, having won that shot on Rampage. The match was maybe not as good as many would have hoped. Cassidy had proved the ability to be a quality matchmaker with wrestling very different styles, but this was a clash of styles and it resulted in an exchange of moves and spot that was more cohesive contest. The presence of Strong, Taven and Bennett at ringside not only continues to tell the story of former challenging Cassidy for the international title, but also set up the finish which saw Commander wipe them out at ringside, only to see the orange punch from the champ. Still, it felt kind of a bit more disjointed than I would have hoped when you see how good both of these wrestlers can be on their day. So I think this was a bit disappointing really. It wasn't terrible or anything, but I think it could have been better, so I'll go with a 6 out of 10. Before it's time for the Mariah May versus Lady Frost, and prior to the commercial, Daniel Garcia was found beaten down and bloody by an unknown assailant. Daddy Magic was vocal in his displeasure, with Garcia turning his back on the former JAS found him. Seems a bit suspicious. But anyway, back to the match, which was perfectly acceptable between these two, with a huge quality spots, but it had one significant issue. Frost shined more than May, so much so that the fans openly chanted for her as of late, and while she was the babyface of this match, it was the appreciation the fans were showing her that wasn't great, because of course they want her to be a villain. May's talented, but this is one instance where a competitive match was not necessary. Give her fodder, let them beat them up for a few minutes, and maybe pick up an uncontested win. Not everything has to be back and forth, and that was on display here. I will say that, but I think Mariah May just looks so good. She's getting over really nicely. I don't know, I'm still kind of enjoying it in a way, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 on the whole. We then got Eddie Kingston versus Willie Mack on Collision. This was, of course, for the Continental Classic crown. But before that, it was a sprint that saw Mack push Kingston with some impact for the offense, but the American Triple Crown champion utilised his spinning back fist to score the victory. More important than that was the interaction afterwards, which saw Danielson disrespectfully interrupt Kingston's celebration, blowing past him as if he was an afterthought. It intensifying the dislike the babyface has for the American Juggle, more so suggesting that the issues between them are far from over. I guess that'll be settled at Revolution, which will be great. Just at the moment with the matches of Kingston, it just feels like the momentum we've had, we kind of let it slip a bit where this Danielson feud's been burning out. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for that reason. Before it's time for that Danielson match versus Yuji Nagata, and of course this brought a lot of excitement. Both are among the most respected pro wrestlers in the world, and while there was some who will overrate the match and tout it as a TV classic, it lived up to expectations on the whole. It was a hard-hitting, physically violent contest that saw Danielson target the left knee of the opponent while Nagata punished his left arm of the American Dragon. Both tried submitting the other, but it was ultimately the Psycho knee that put Nagata down and earned Danielson the victory. A great match that continued the heel's legendary run of quality, and also saw Kingston sitting on commentary and talk up the feud with Danielson, which I thought worked nicely as well. So this gets 7 out of 10 for me. It wasn't, I don't think it would be a match of the year candidate or anything like that, but I thought it was a very, very solid TV match, and surreal to see them in the ring together. Before it's time for Serena Dee making her return for the first time since 2022, crazy that, battling Robin Renegade, and the Professor symptomatically picked her opponent apart, delivering the detox and tapping her out with a Serenity Lock. It was exactly the sort of thing AEW does not do enough of. It was a showcase for Dee, which didn't overstay its welcome or risk putting too much shine on the other competitors. It was concise, did exactly what it set out to do, wrapped up with plenty of fan excitement and energy in Dee's direction. Her post-match promo benefited from the energy and was very good, laying out her motives and the champion's aspirations she carries with her. The preceding match between Danielson and Nagata was great in of accent, but this may have been the best segment on the show. Great to see Dee back. Before it's time for the Estate of the Cave elimination match, Moments after the House of Black attacked FTR and Mark Briscoe prior to the start of the match, an injured Daniel Garcia joined FTR in the ring to battle the Black House. The match, hampered by the silly escape rods, was still a great example of masterful storytelling within the context of a physical battle. This was united in front of House of Black dominating early, only for their control to diminish as they exited the cage. Not even Julia Hart missing Garcia was enough to reserve the win, as the resilient competitor further enhanced his young star. The finish saw recovered Briscoe slam the cage door on Black's hand, allowing Garcia to hit the floor and win the match. A match with many moving pieces. It was going to prove problematic from a booking perspective, but this was well executed and put the spotlight on Garcia, who's been at the centre of renewed creative efforts as of late. So yeah, I think this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. A pretty fun match on the whole. I think FTR and Garcia getting a big babyface victory despite everything that came before them looks good. Garcia obviously getting more and more over, which is working nicely. So yeah, on the whole, I thought this was all pretty solid and gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Overall, AEW Collision out of 10 gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode of Collision this week, I have to say. I thought, Dee's return was great. Danielson Nagata was also obviously a dream match. I thought the cage match is a bit confuddled, but I thought on the whole it was a pretty fun way to end the show as well, especially with a big babyface win. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.